I stand in the foyer of our suburban home, one hand pressed against the small of my back, the other cradling my swollen belly. The sound of laughter drifts from the living roomy husband's voice, animated and carefree, mixed with the appreciative chuckles of his parents. My feet ache from hours of standing, but that pain is nothing compared to the hollow feeling in my chest as I listen to their jovial conversation. And then I told the client. Ethan's voice carries through the hallway, sharp and clear, like he's performing for an audience. I take a tentative step toward the living room, wincing as my swollen ankles protest the movement. The hardwood floor creaks beneath my feet, but no one seems to notice. I pause in the doorway, taking in the scene. Ethan sits perfectly poised in his tailored charcoal suit, not a single dark hair out of place. His parents lean forward on our cream leather sofa, hanging on his every word. The evening light streams through the bay window, catching the dust motes dancing in the air, making everything look almost ethereal like a perfect family portrait. Almost. Ethan? I venture, hating how small my voice sounds. I couldn't find your whiskey at the store. The change is immediate. His shoulders stiffen, and when he turns to look at me, his eyes are cold, dismissive. What do you mean you couldn't find it? Did you even try the other locations? I checked 3 stores, I say, fighting to keep my voice steady. They were all out of that specific brand. He sighs, that particular sigh I've come to dread, the one that says I've disappointed him yet again. Sophia, you know how particular I am about my drinks, especially when my parents are here. I know, I'm sorry, There's that new liquor store on Mason Street. His mother interjects, her smile sharp as a knife. Surely you could try there. My feet throb at the mere thought of more walking. The doctor specifically told me to rest, to stay off my feet as much as possible this close to my due date. Ethan knows this. He was there at the appointment, or at least, his body was. His mind was probably on work, just like always. It's getting late, I say quietly. And the doctor said, "Oh, for God's sake." Ethan cuts me off, standing abruptly. He straightens his jacket with quick, irritated movements. "I'll go get it myself, since apparently that's too difficult for you to manage." The words hit like physical blows. I watch him grab his keys from the side table, not even sparing me a glance as he strides past. His parents exchange knowing looks, the kind that speak volumes about their opinion of their son's inadequate wife. "Don't wait up." Ethan calls over his shoulder, already halfway to the door. "We might grab dinner while we're out." The front door slams, and suddenly I'm transported back through months of similar moments. Early mornings, waking up to cold sheets and silence, Ethan already gone without a word. The day of my first ultrasound, sitting alone in the waiting room, watching other expectant mothers with their supportive partners. His text arrived 15 minutes after my appointment. Got held up in a meeting. Reschedule? The memories flood in, each one sharper than the last. Last week's prenatal checkup, where the doctor frowned at my blood pressure readings. "Is your husband helping with the housework?" she'd asked. I'd lied, nodding, thinking of the dishes I'd washed that morning, back aching, while Ethan sat in his home office on yet another important call. 3 days ago, struggling to carry groceries up our driveway. Ethan watching from the window, phone pressed to his ear, turning away as I dropped a bag. The oranges had rolled down the concrete, and I'd had to choose between picking them up or protecting my belly as I bent down. Our wedding photo stares back at me from the hallway wall. The happy couple they'd called us. Now the silver frame just reflects the cold glow of the hallway light, turning my smile into something fragile and uncertain. I trace my finger across the glass, remembering how many nights I've spent alone in this house, managing endless chores despite my growing exhaustion, while Ethan attended essential business dinners. My hands curl into fists at my sides. Each dismissal, each lonely moment, each casual cruelty, they're not just memories anymore. They're fuel. Something hot and fierce builds in my chest, different from the usual hurt. This feels like strength. I turn toward the unseen audience, you, whoever you are, watching this moment of revelation, and whisper, "Have you ever felt completely overlooked by someone you trusted?" The words hang in the air, heavy with truth and possibility. My reflection in the hallway mirror shows a woman I barely recognize, spine straight despite the weight of my belly, eyes bright with unshed tears, and something else. Something like determination. My phone buzzes in my hand. Unknown number. My heart races as I stare at the screen, my finger hovering over the answer button. In this moment, standing in my silent house with my baby kicking beneath my ribs, I realize something has shifted. Whatever this call brings, I'm done being invisible. I take a deep breath and press answer. The engine hums beneath us as Ethan maneuvers through evening traffic, one hand loosely gripping the steering wheel, the other scrolling through his phone. My fingernails dig into the leather seat as another contraction ripples through me, but I bite back the whimper rising in my throat. He won't listen anyway. I've booked the beach house for next weekend, he announces, not even glancing in my direction. Mom's already planning the menu for Sunday brunch. The words take a moment to register through the fog of pain. Next weekend? My voice comes out thin, strained. Ethan, I'm due in less than 2 weeks. He sighs that familiar, dismissive sound that makes me feel 2 inches tall. The doctor said first babies usually come late. Besides, it's only a 2-hour drive. A sharper contraction seizes me, and this time I can't hold back my gasp. My hands fly to my belly, feeling it tighten like a vice. Something's wrong, I manage through gritted teeth. We need to go to the hospital. Don't be dramatic, Sophia. Ethan's voice carries that edge of irritation I've come to dread. You're just working yourself up over nothing, again. The contractions are coming faster now, each one more intense than the last. Sweat beads on my forehead as highway lights blur past the window. I fumble for my phone, trying to time the waves of pain, but my fingers are trembling too badly to unlock the screen. Pull over, I plead, panic rising in my chest. Please, Ethan, the baby. For God's sake! He slams his hand against the steering wheel. I have a conference call in 20 minutes. This attention-seeking behavior needs to stop. Warm liquid soaks through my dress. My water has broken. The realization hits me with crystalline clarity. My baby is coming, whether Ethan acknowledges it or not. Stop the car. I demand, my voice stronger than I knew it could be. Stop it now. He jerks the wheel toward the shoulder, tires crunching on gravel. Before the car fully stops, he's already dialing his phone. I can't deal with this right now. There's a gas station half a mile ahead. Call yourself an Uber. What? The word comes out as a whisper, though my mind is screaming. You can't. But he can. He does. I watch in stunned disbelief as he reaches across me, pushes open my door, and waits. The fluorescent lights of the gas station gleam in the distance, impossibly far. Get out. His voice is cold, final. I'm already late. Another contraction rips through me as I stumble from the car. The gravel bites into my feet through thin sandals. I brace myself against the guardrail, doubled over in pain, as Ethan's taillights disappear into the darkness. The sound of an approaching car makes me lift my head. Headlights sweep across me, then brake lights flash red. A car door slams. Oh my God, Sophia? A familiar voice cuts through my haze of pain. Mia, my neighbor, rushes toward me, her face twisted with concern. What happened? Are you in labor? I try to answer, but another contraction steals my breath. Through tear-blurred eyes, I see Mia's phone in her hand, already recording. She must have been filming something else, but now her camera captures the last glimpse of Ethan's retreating car, the empty shoulder of the road, my obvious distress. He left me. I choke out, the reality of it hitting me like a physical blow. He just left. I'm calling 911. Mia's arm wraps around my shoulders, steadying me. Her other hand still holds her phone, unknowingly documenting every moment of this betrayal. And then we're going to make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of man Ethan Carter really is. The wail of approaching sirens pierces the night. I lean into Mia's support, one hand cradling my belly, feeling my baby's movement beneath my palm. Something shifts inside Mena, just the baby, but something deeper. The fear and shock are still there, but beneath them burns a new emotion. Rage. Hold on, little one, I whisper to my child. We're going to survive this, and then we're going to make sure your father never hurts anyone else again. Through the haze of pain, I hear Mia speaking urgently into her phone, coordinating with the emergency responders. The evidence of Ethan's cruelty is safely recorded, though he doesn't know it yet. My hands shake, but my resolve hardens like steel. This night marks the end of his power over Mia, and he doesn't even realize it yet. I got it all, Mia says, her voice tight with controlled anger as she helps me toward her car. The whole thing. Him driving away, what he said, everything. She holds up her phone, its screen still recording. I was doing a sunset time-lapse for my photography blog when I saw you. Talk about right place, right time. Another contraction hits, and I grip her arm. The pain is different, now sharper, more insistent. The baby, I gasp. Something's happening. Mia's face sets with determination. She flags down an approaching ambulance, its sirens piercing the quiet suburban night. Over here! She's in active labor! The next few minutes blur into a cascade of motion and voices. Paramedics swarm around me, their questions coming rapid fire. Blood pressure, contraction timing, previous complications. Through it all, Mia stays close, her hand gripping mine, her phone safely tucked away with its damning evidence. I'm coming with you, she insists, as they load me into the ambulance. To the paramedics, she adds, I'm her emergency contact, her husband. She catches herself, but I hear the disgust in her voice. The ambulance races through darkened streets, each bump and turn intensifying my pain. But something else builds alongside Ida fierce, unexpected strength. I think of Ethan, probably sitting in his pristine office by now, smugly conducting his conference call while I fight through labor alone. Number not alone. I look at Mia, this neighbor who's become more family to me than my own husband. What would you do? I ask her, my voice surprisingly steady despite another waves of contractions. If the one you trusted let you down at your most vulnerable moment. She squeezes my hand, her eyes glinting with a mixture of compassion and steel. I'd make sure they never had the chance to do it again. She pulls out her phone, showing me the video she captured. On the screen, Ethan's car speeds away, his callous words perfectly audible in the night air. And honey, we've got everything we need to make that happen. I close my eyes as another contraction builds. But this time, the pain feels different. This time, it feels like power. Like the beginning of something, not just an ending. Somewhere in this city, Ethan sits in his clean, ordered world, not knowing that its foundations are already crumbling. Let him enjoy his perfect image while he can. The truth is safely captured, waiting like a loaded gun, and soon everyone will know exactly who Ethan Carter really is. I sit in my living room, watching Ethan's performance on the local news. He stands at a polished podium outside his company headquarters, every hair perfectly in place, his navy suit crisp despite the humid Atlanta afternoon. The sight of him makes my stomach clench. These allegations are completely unfounded, he says, voice steady and practiced. My wife's situation has been greatly dramatized by social media. I've always been a dedicated husband, and soon, to be father. Elijah stirs against my chest, and I adjust him gently. My newborn son seems to sense the tension in my body, his tiny fists clenching as Ethan's voice fills our home. A notification pings on my phone, another community message board post about the Carter family scandal. The headlines are spreading faster than Ethan's crisis management team can contain them. Local business leader abandons pregnant wife. Atlanta entrepreneur. Under fire for negligence, asterisk. Turn it off, Mia says from beside me, reaching for the remote. You don't need to watch this. But I can't look away. Ethan's mask is slipping. I see it in the tight set of his jaw, the slight tremor in his hand as he adjusts his tie. For the first time, others are seeing what I've known for months. The carefully constructed facade hiding a heart of ice. The community remembers your generous donations, a reporter calls out. But witnesses say you left your wife on the side of the road during active labor. How do you respond? Ethan's smile doesn't waver, but I recognize the dangerous flash in his eyes. A complete misunderstanding. My wife was simply overwrought, and the television clicks off. Mia stands in front of me, arms crossed. Enough. We have work to do. She's right. I follow her to the community center, Elijah sleeping peacefully in his carrier. The conference room is dim and cool, a welcome relief from the Georgia heat. Spread across the oak table are printouts, photos, and my old digital voice recorder. Physical proof of Ethan's cruelty. My hands shake as I press play on the first recording. Since apparently that's too difficult for you to manage. Ethan's voice, cold and dismissive, fills the room. Then another. Don't wait up. We might grab dinner while we're out. Each clip is a knife to my heart, but also a brick in the wall of evidence we're building. Our neighbor Tom's written statement about finding me struggling with groceries. The security camera footage from our driveway showing Ethan watching, unconcerned, as I nearly fell. The doctor's notes about my dangerously high blood pressure, her pointed questions about support at home. This is more than enough, says Karen, a local advocacy lawyer who's joined our cause. The pattern of neglect is clear. But it's not just the evidence that's changing. With each replay, each witness statement, something shifts inside me. The pain doesn't disappear. It transforms, hardening into determination. I'm no longer the woman who apologized for failing to find the right whiskey. I'm becoming someone else, someone stronger. The community center fills with more allies as the afternoon progresses. Mia takes charge, directing everyone with quiet efficiency. At a large whiteboard, she maps out our strategy, press releases, legal filings, community outreach events. Each person brings unique insights. Mrs. Chen from the corner store knows every local gossip channel. Robert from Neighborhood Watch has connections with law enforcement. And Karen understands the intricacies of family court. We need to coordinate our timing, Mia says, uncapping a red marker. Hit him from all angles before he can spin more lies. She draws arrows connecting different initiatives, creating a web of resistance that makes my breath catch. This is no longer just my fight, it's become a movement. Local business owners pledge to withdraw support from Ethan's ventures. The president of the neighborhood association suggests an emergency meeting to address community safety concerns. Even the pastor from Ethan's parents' church quietly offers testimonials about his absurd behavior. The truth has a way of surfacing, Mrs. Chen says, her eyes fierce with protective anger. We just need to give it a little push. I stand before them, my heart pounding with a mixture of gratitude and determination. How far would you go to reclaim your dignity? The words escape me before I can think, and the room falls silent. That's when Sarah, Ethan's former assistant, steps forward. Her hands tremble as she places a sleek laptop on the table, but her voice is steady. There's something you all need to see. She opens a folder labeled EC Private and turns the screen toward us. I've been documenting everything for months. Board meeting recordings, email threads, bank transfers, the abandonment during labor. That's just the tip of the iceberg. My breath catches as I scan the first few documents. Email chains revealing Ethan's systematic manipulation of company funds. Calendar entries showing business meetings that were anything but professional. Voice memos where he openly mocked my pregnancy concerns to his colleagues. He has no idea I kept copies, Sarah says quietly. He thought he'd cleaned everything when he had it-wiped my work computer. The room erupts in murmurs as people crowd around the laptop. But I'm frozen, staring at the screen, remembering all the nights I spent alone while Ethan claimed to be working late. All the times he dismissed my concerns about our dwindling savings. All the lies. This changes everything, Mia says, her expression fierce with triumph. He won't be able to talk his way out of this. I look down at Elijah, still sleeping peacefully in his carrier, then back at the determined faces surrounding me. For months, Ethan made me feel small, invisible, crazy for doubting him. But now, surrounded by allies and armed with irrefutable evidence, I feel something new stirring in my chest. Power. It's time, I say, my voice stronger than I've ever heard it. Show me everything. My hand trembles as I adjust the microphone. The historic brick walls of the Centennial Community Center loom above me, witnesses to countless community gatherings, but none quite like this. Hundreds of faces stare back at me from the audience, their expressions a mix of curiosity and anticipation. Behind them, the red lights of multiple news cameras blink steadily, ready to broadcast my truth to the world. Thank you all for coming, I begin, my voice stronger than I expected. Mia stands to my left, a silent pillar of support. My son Elijah sleeps peacefully in her arms, blissfully unaware that his mother is about to shatter his father's carefully constructed world. I take a deep breath and press play. The video fills the massive screen behind me. Even now, months later, watching the footage makes my chest tight. There's Ethan, impeccable in his designer suit, his face twisted with disdain as I double over in pain on the side of the road. His voice rings out, crystal clear through the community center's speakers. I don't have time for your dramatics, Sophia. The board meeting starts in 20 minutes. A collective gasp ripples through the audience. I force myself to watch their reactions instead of the screen, to stay present in this moment rather than getting lost in the memory of that night. Some people cover their mouths in shock. Others shake their heads in disgust. A woman in the front row wipes away tears. This was the night I went into premature labor. I say into the microphone, my voice steady despite the emotion threatening to choke me. The night my husband celebrated in this community for his charitable works and family values left his 9 months pregnant wife on the side of the road because a business meeting took priority. I gesture to my laptop, and a series of time-stamped recordings, screenshots, and documents appear on the screen. Each piece of evidence lands like a physical blow. Ethan's cruel dismissals captured on a home security system, his gaslighting texts, social media posts where he painted himself as a devoted husband while I struggled alone through a difficult pregnancy. The evidence is irrefutable. I've made sure of that. A commotion erupts at the back of the room. I spot Ethan bursting through the doors, his face flushed with rage. His expensive shoes click against the hardwood floor as he storms toward the stage. But he's too late, the damage is already done. CNN's cameras are rolling, local news stations are broadcasting live, and number Ethan Carter exposed is already trending on social media. Within hours, Ethan's desperate countermeasures begin. I watch from Mia's living room as he appears on local television, his practiced smile now strained at the edges. My wife is clearly struggling with postpartum depression, he says smoothly to the interviewer. These allegations are completely fabricated. The feed cuts to footage from my press conference, his own voice contradicting his denials. His mother, Margaret, launches a social media campaign, posting carefully curated photos of family gatherings. But the comments beneath tell a different story. Where was he when she was in labor? Why are all these photos staged? I saw him that neither really did leave her. Mia squeezes my hand as we watch his carefully constructed defenses crumble. The community is ready, she says, pulling out her phone. Should we launch phase 2? I nod, and within minutes, the Centennial Community Center's parking lot fills again. This time, it's not just journalists, it's neighbors. Local business owners, teachers, nurses from the hospital where I gave birth. They carry signs, number Justice for Sophia, number No More Silence, number We Stand with Survivors. The movement grows faster than even Mia predicted. Local legal experts offer pro bono services. Activists organize demonstrations outside Eaton and Associates. The dedicated website we created crashes from too much traffic as thousands share their own stories of abuse and survival. Each coordinated response strips away another layer of Ethan's power. His business partners distance themselves. His PR firm issues a carefully worded statement about reevaluating their client relationships. His country club membership is quietly revoked, but it's at the final town hall meeting that I deliver the killing blow. The same community center fills one last time. Ethan sits in the front row, his suit slightly rumpled now, his confident smile replaced by dark circles under his eyes. He thinks he knows what's coming, more videos, more testimonies. He's wrong. I pull out a small USB drive, holding it up so the cameras can catch the light glinting off its surface. This drive contains every communication between my husband and the executives at Eaton and Associates. I announce, my voice carrying to every corner of the room. Every strategy they plan to discredit victims. Every scheme to bury the truth. The color drains from Ethan's face. He knows exactly what's on that drive, every cruel plan, every calculated deception, laid bare in his own words. I turn to face the audience. These people who've become more than just spectators, they're now allies in the fight for justice. For years, I thought I was alone. I say, my voice strong and clear. I thought no one would believe me over the great Ethan Carter. But I'm not alone anymore. We're not alone anymore. Looking directly into the cameras, I ask the question that will echo across social media tonight. Do you believe justice will finally prevail? The answering roar shakes the historic walls of the Centennial Community Center, and I know it already has. The crystal chandeliers of the Peachtree Grand Hotel cast dancing shadows across the faces of Atlanta's elite. I adjust my emerald silk dress, a strategic choice that makes me look both powerful and approachable. The ballroom buzzes with the typical sounds of a charity gala, champagne flutes clinking, forced laughter, the rustle of designer dresses worth more than my monthly rent. Ethan takes the stage like he owns it, each step calculated in his navy Tom Ford suit. I've seen this performance before, the way he tilts his head just so, how he adjusts his gold cufflinks for maximum effect. The spotlight catches his perfectly styled dark hair, and for a moment, I'm transported back to our wedding day. Back when I thought his orchestrated movements meant strength instead of manipulation. Ladies and gentlemen, he begins, his voice carrying that practiced mix of authority and charm. I stand before you tonight not just as a business leader, but as a man who's been grievously wronged. My fingers curl around the small remote in my palm. Beside me, Mia squeezes my other hand. The projector behind Ethan hums quietly, waiting. Any attempts to slander my reputation will be met with the full force of legal action. Ethan continues, his words dripping with manufactured sincerity. The allegations against me are not just false, they're malicious attempts to destroy everything we've built in this community. Now, I whisper, pressing the button. The screen behind him flickers to life. Ethan's voice fills the ballroom, but this time it's different, raw, unfiltered, cruel. The security footage plays in crystal clear quality. Ethan screaming at me to get out of his car, my pregnant form visible in the frame. The timestamp shows 2:17 a.m. The next clip. Ethan laughing with his colleagues about handling the wife situation while I was in labor. He spins around, face draining of color as he watches himself on screen. The audience's murmurs grow louder, more urgent. I stand, moving toward the stage with measured steps. You want to talk about slander, Ethan? My voice carries across the suddenly silent room. Let's talk about truth instead. More evidence floods the screen bank statements, showing his systematic financial abuse. Text messages revealing his coordinated gaslighting campaigns. Medical records documenting my stress-induced complications during pregnancy. Each piece lands like a physical blow, dismantling his carefully constructed facade piece by piece. These aren't allegations, I continue, my voice steady despite my racing heart. These are facts. Facts that show exactly who you are when the cameras stop rolling. The crowd's reaction is visceral. I see Mrs. Henderson, his biggest client, press a hand to her mouth in horror. Senator Wright, his golf buddy, slowly shakes his head. The community leaders who once hung on Ethan's every word now lean away from him, as if his presence has become toxic. You're twisting things, Ethan snarls, but his composure cracks. His hands shake as he grips the podium. This is clearly edited. Is it? I pull out my phone, turning up the volume. His voice fills the room again. Get out. I don't care if you're in labor. I have a meeting in the morning. The timestamp matches the hospital admission records projected on screen. A woman in the front row stands up and walks out. Then another. Soon, it's a steady stream of Ethan's former supporters abandoning their seats, their backs turned to his desperate attempts to explain. The next morning, I stand at the podium of the Atlanta Convention Center, my legal team flanking me like guardian angels. The room pulses with the energy of dozens of journalists, their cameras trained on my face. Miss Taylor, my attorney, places a reassuring hand on my shoulder as I begin. For too long, silence has been mistaken for consent. I say into the forest of microphones. Today, that silence ends. The evidence unfolds like a symphony piece building on the last. High-definition security footage from our neighborhood shows Ethan's pattern of neglect. Audio recordings capture his casual cruelty. Financial records reveal his systematic attempts to keep me dependent and isolated. Judge Robinson's ruling comes down like thunder 3 days later. I sit in the front row of the courtroom, spine straight, as she speaks the words that will reshape my future. In light of the overwhelming evidence, she declares, her voice sharp with barely contained disgust, this court finds in favor of the plaintiff. Mr. Carter's actions represent a clear pattern of emotional and financial abuse. The gavel strikes. Ethan's head drops into his hands. Around me, the community that once shunned me now stands in solidarity. Mr. Johnson, the community center director, Miss Rivera, who runs the local women's shelter. Even Ethan's former business partners, their faces grim with newfound understanding. Later, standing on the courthouse steps with Mia and my supporters, I feel the weight of victory settle around my shoulders like a warm shawl. The late afternoon sun paints everything in shades of gold, as if the world itself is celebrating with me. Then my phone buzzes. The message glows against the screen. Impressive victory. But did you know about the offshore accounts, the shell companies, the other women who came before you? This goes deeper than one man's cruelty. Want to know more? My heart pounds as I stare at the words. Around me, reporters call out questions. Cameras flash. Supporters celebrate. But my mind races with possibilities, with the thought that maybe this isn't the end, maybe it's just the beginning. I look up at the crowd gathered around me, then back at my phone. Can you imagine reclaiming your life after such betrayal? I ask, my voice carrying over the courthouse steps. The question hangs in the air, both an ending and a beginning, as I press my thumb against the screen and type one word. Yes. The first rays of sunlight paint the Atlanta skyline in shades of amber and rose. I stand on my balcony, fingers curled around the smooth metal railing, watching the city wake. My new home isn't as grand as the suburban prison I left behind, but every inch of this space belongs to me. Every decision, every decoration, every moment mine. The morning air carries the scent of flowering dogwoods and fresh coffee from the cafe downstairs. A gentle breeze stirs my hair, and I close my eyes, letting the warmth seep into my skin. The weight that used to press against my chest, that constant pressure of trying to be perfect, of walking on eggshells, it's gone. My hands find the framed photo on the small bistro table, the glass cool against my fingertips. The picture captures a moment from last month's community gathering. Mia's arm around my shoulders, her brother Daniel's quiet smile in the background, and my standing tall, Elijah balanced on my hip. The joy in my eyes is real, unforced. No carefully constructed facade, no desperate attempt to maintain appearances. The city below comes alive with purpose. A delivery truck rumbles past. Morning commuters stream toward MARTA stations, and somewhere nearby, a car horn offers a staccato greeting to the day. I breathe in deeply, tasting freedom in every inhale. Inside the Centennial Community Center, sunlight streams through tall windows, creating halos around the faces of the women gathered here. My story flows easier now, though my hands still tremble slightly as I gesture toward the projection screen. Images flash behind the scenes from a life I barely recognize anymore. That woman, I say, pointing to a photo of myself from before, hunched and uncertain in an expensive dress that feels like a costume now. She believed love meant sacrifice. That strength meant silence. My voice carries clearly through the room, steady and sure. She was wrong. Heads nod in understanding. Some of these women have stories that mirror my own. Others are here to learn, to recognize the signs, to understand how to help. In the front row, Mia beams with pride, her presence a reminder of that first crucial moment when someone finally saw me. Each moment that broke me, I continue, advancing to the next slide, actually built something stronger. Every dismissal, every lonely night, every cruel word, they became stepping stones. The image changes to a recent photo. Me speaking at a domestic violence awareness rally, my voice carrying across a sea of supportive faces. They led me here. The energy shifts as we move into the workshop portion of the session. At a table near the window, I notice a woman, Cassandra, according to her name, tag-dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. Her hands shake as she tries to complete the therapeutic art exercise we've provided. Without hesitation, I make my way to her side. It feels impossible now, I say softly, settling into the chair beside her. But that's just another lie they tell us. I guide her hand as she sketches, showing her how to transform her pain into something beautiful on the page. You're stronger than you know. A movement catches my eye, Daniel, Mia's brother, slipping quietly into the back of the room. Our eyes meet briefly, and his smile sends a warm flutter through my chest. It's too soon, we both know that. But there's something comforting in the way he looks at Minot, with pity or judgment, but with genuine admiration. He sees me as I am now, whole, strong, unbroken. As dusk settles over the city, I stand on the rooftop garden of my building. The lantern Mia gave me sits on the ledge, its soft light a beacon in the growing darkness. To guide you home, she'd said when she presented it, though we both knew I'd already found my way. Below, the last few attendees from today's support group mingle in the courtyard. Their voices drift up to me, carrying stories of survival, of hope, of transformation. I lift the lantern, watching its light dance against the deepening purple of the sky. What does freedom look like to you? I whisper to the city spread out before me, to the women gathering their strength below, to anyone who might be standing at their own crossroads tonight. The question hangs in the air, mingling with the soft music from the courtyard and the distant hum of traffic. My reflection in the rooftops' glass doors shows a woman I'm finally getting to know spine straight, eyes clear, heart open to whatever comes next. The lantern's light catches in my hair, creating a soft halo effect. I smile, recognizing the symbolism Mia intended with her gift. Sometimes we need someone else to light the way before we can become our own beacon. The city lights twinkle below, 1,000 tiny stars mirroring the ones emerging above. Each one represents a story, a struggle, a triumph. Mine is just one among many, but it's mine. Finally, completely, mine.